welcome to part 2. Part 2, we're going to look at the minor modes. Something you're going to hear a lot of is everything should be compared to the major scale, the Ionian mode. So whether you want to do a deep dive into harmonic minor or melodic minor, you should compare it to the major scale, the Ionian mode. And even the minor modes, you want to compare to the Ionian mode. However, if you do that, there's a few extra steps. You take the shape of the Ionian, and to get to one of these modes, you've got to do 2 or 3 changes, But I found a way where I can simplify it. And I'm just going to do a wee recap of last week as well. Let's do a recap of last week, or last video lesson. We looked at the major modes. We started off with the Ionian. We had a root note here, whole, whole, half, whole, whole, half, and back to root. So that's the shape if you look at across, the 3 note per string thing. Now to get to the Ionian, to get to the Lydian mode, we just make one variation. And we've done that by taking the 4. So if we count up 1, 2, 3, 4, we took the 4 there. We took the 4 and we raised it. And just that one variation gave us a different note. Then to get to the Mixolydian, we went back to our home base. Our default was Ionian, and we says, right, let's turn this into Mixolydian by changing one thing. We took the 7 and we now have a flat 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7 root. So that's how we got to different modes. And we got to different major modes. It's not about a load of new patterns. We've got a master mode. I think maybe a lot of guitar players, keys players, perhaps bass players, maybe at some points we feel stuck, confused, not sure where to go next, don't understand stuff. And really it's a limitation of knowing the major scale. You really want to know everything possible about the major scale. You want to know the triads, all the chords in it, the arpeggios. Learn everything, put all your resources into the major scale. So then when you come to working on a mode, say, oh, now I've got to learn the Mixolydian, that's something completely different. No, you're just changing one note to get to that, Okay, just before I go to the next section, I thought, why not give you a wee visual representation on this chart here. So let's default back to major, back to Ionian. They're both the same thing. So let's go back to home base, base camp. Let's go back to base camp. Now we're back to Ionian, right? Now everybody's going to tell you, even James Cameron, when he was down at the Mariana Trench, he found a wee piece of paper, right? That said, anything that you look at, you must compare to major scale. You have to do it, right? And there's a bag of truth to that. and that's what you should do, right? But it's a lot of work to say, right, let's go to home bass, then go to Aeolian, then come back to home bass, then compare it to Dorian, then come back to home bass, then compare it to the Phrygian mode, come back to home bass, and then look at the Locrian. That's quite a lot of work. So what I suggest, right, is that we do the work one time. We compare and contrast the Ionian, we take the Aeolian, compare it with the Ionian, and then when we look at the Dorian, we compare it to the Aeolian. When we look at Phrygian, we compare it to Aeolian. When we look at the Locrian, we can compare it to the Aeolian, but you might be surprised that these two are quite near together. So we can maybe just cheat a bit, but we will get to that. But first of all, the first thing that we're going to do is compare the Aeolian to Ionian with this visual chart here. So let's get out a pen. Okay, Ionian, let's make that into Aeolian. Okay, first thing that we need to do is the third, 1, 2, 3, we come down half a step, flat 3, okay? Right, okay, let's split out, flat 3, flat 3, flat 3 there, there you go. Excuse me. Root, second, flat third. 4, 5, we now need to flat the 6. So that's our flat 6 here. Excuse me. Last thing that we need to do is to flat the 7. 7 there. Flat 7. So this is a visual reference of, you can practice the Ionian mode, get that shape in your fingers, free up your strings, Now get the Aeolian. Okay, so that now is our home base for minor modes. We're not using Ionian for the home base for minor modes. Spend some time understanding the difference between these two. But from now on, Dorian, Phrygian and Locrian, we can compare these three with Aeolian. That's our new home base. So just I'll just give you a quick visual, and then we'll go back up to this partner thing I've been talking about. But first of all, I would like to say that not everybody digs 4-note pair strings. Some people prefer 2-note pair strings, 3-note pair strings. I mean, I don't really know anybody who plays 4 notes pair strings, But it's not about learning something new that's going to waste your time. It's about, here's something I can practice 5 minutes a day to get the sounds of the modes into my system. The easiest way. I don't think I can come up with an easier way to get the modes in your system. And of course, once you've got these patterns down, right, part 1, part 2, and you've got them, then you can go into thinking, well, maybe I can just do 3-note pair strings or 2-note pair strings because I have it, So anyway, okay, let's look at Aeolian as our home base, and we want to change it to Dorian. So what is the difference? 1 note, okay? It's the 6. We just raise the 6th note and that's it. to get from Aetolian to Dorian, I take the 6. I'll keep, right. There's a 6 here. 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, race 6, flat 7, and root Dorian. That's it. Now let's go to Phrygian. So rather than just go from here to Phrygian, let's go back to home base. Our home base is not Ionian, it's Aeolian. That's our new home base for the minor modes. So let's go back to home base. Back to Aeolian. Now to get to Phrygian, or Phrygian, all we do is we take the second and we lower the second. That's Phrygian. You can practice with this 3-note pair string thing, going from Aeolian to Phrygian, just by making it one small change. 1 note, you know. How bloody easy is that, you know? All these big fancy shapes and scales. 1 bloody note. Okay, so let's look at Locrian. Now, we've got 2 options. We can spoil ourselves, right? We can be at Phrygian here with this shape. If we want to go to Locrian, all we need to do is lower this 5. If I lower this 5, we have Locrian. Locrian, if I raise this, if I put the flat 5 back to 5, we go back to Phrygian, okay? We could do it the other way, where we go back to home base, Aeolian, if you wish. We can do that. Let's go back to home base. But now to get from Aeolian to Locrian, we've got to make 2 variations, 2 changes. And that's to take the 2 and the 5 and lower both of them. So let's do that. Let's lower the 3rd. So it's 2 variations to get from Aeolian to Locrian. So the first variation is a flat 3, and the second variation is the flat 5. So now let's go on to this 4-note pair string thing. I can appreciate nobody I've ever heard of does 4-note pair strings, but again, it's about the easiest way possible to get the sound of the modes into your system. And of course, a person could just use this chart here. They could just, if this way is better for you, fantastic. This happens to be a easier way for myself. So let's move on to that section now. Hi there, welcome back. This is pattern 1. Let's look at pattern 1. Right now, we're going to see Aeolian as our master 4 minor. Every time I use the word master, I think of Master of Puppets by Metallica. So this is our new master key. This is our new Master of Puppets. So just like with this visual chart here, we're going to make some changes up here too. So let's do pattern 1 first. I've got black pen here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We want to flatten the 3rd. That's the third flattened. And the 4 stays the same. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's pattern 1. And I can go through each string. I can demonstrate on the guitar, but if you saw part 1, you know exactly what to do. Okay, so this is E. Play this pattern, right? Get a button into your system, right? This pattern number 1. You could even call it root pattern. Pattern 1, root pattern. It doesn't matter, right? Find E's all around the body fretboard and just play this pattern, right? I've showed you in part 1, right? Now with pattern number 2, there's 2 changes. We lower the 6, we lower the 7, okay? So this is the 5th of the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's the 6. Lower the 6. And then we lower the 7 too. Lower the 7. Okay? So the 5th of the scale is a B. Locate all the B's on the fretboard and play pattern number 2. So that's for the Aeolian mode. So let's look at the Dorian mode. So this is Aeolian, 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, and 1, or root. Okay, master, 2 master shapes, 2 master puppets. Okay, how do we get to Dorian from these 2 shapes here? If you recall, we just had to do one thing, and that was to raise the 6. Okay, so let's go to pattern 2. So pattern 1, play the shape on E's all over the fretboard. Pattern 2, then the shape on B, this pattern, all over the fretboard. Now to get to Dorian, you just make one small change in pattern 2, and that's to raise the 6. Dead easy. So how do we get to Phrygian? Well, we're not going to get to Phrygian from Dorian. We're going to get to Phrygian from Aeolian. So let's go back to Aeolian. That's our master key, our master mode for minor. There's our flat 6. Cool. How do we play Phrygian? Look at pattern 1. It has a flat 2. There's our flat 2 there. Pattern 1, pattern 2. Now again, from this point, how do we get to Locrian? Well, we can get from Phrygian to Locrian by one variation, and that's to take this 5 and come down half a step, and we have the Locrian mode. Yeah, we can do that, not an issue. If you go back to Aeolian, if we do a reset, go back to home base camp, then we need to make 2 variations, and that would be to take the 2nd and to lower it, and to take the 5 and to lower it too. So that's a two-step process thing. So I've not done the guitar demonstration. I think I kind of showed that in the first video, and I think maybe people just want that information, just give me the gold, And if you did demand some gold, I would say that the major scale is the gold that you're looking for. if you feel in a rut, if you're stuck, you're not sure where to go next, learn everything about the major scale. There's 7 chords in the major scale, there's 7 scales in the major scale. Learn all the triads, learn all the arpeggios, learn the natural number system, look at chords as numbers, you know, rather than thinking G, D and C, think A, 1, 5, 4. Any other gold that I could give you. Offhand, master the major scale. Master. Because when you go to any other scale or mode, it's just a variation on the major scale. Even in the future, if you wanted to visit the harmonic minor or the melodic minor, you might be thinking, oh, okay, that's a completely new system, it's a new set stuff, you know. But if you've mastered this, if you know this really well, then you'll just see it's kind of a variation on something that you know really well, just like with these modes. Okay? The Aeolian and the Dorian is just a variation. Okay? If a person knew the Aeolian really well, right? They knew it really well. It's not much of a jump to a Dorian. You know, it's not 10 hours worth of study. It's just making one note change. You know, it's so gold. I'll give you to take away. Learn and master the major scale, the chords within it, triads, arpeggios, the pentatonics, then the natural number system. Learn a way to visualize the fretboard as well. I personally think the cage system is a great way to go, because within caged you can learn the triads and arpeggios and pentatonics within these shapes like too. So you take the C shape, and within the C shape have your triads, arpeggios and your pentatonics. You can have everything tied off in a box, say. And once you've got the caged system down, I recommend intervallic intervals, and you super overlay them over the cage system. So with the cage system, the C and A say it's so in the key of C. So on the C shape, you've got your triads, your arpeggios. If you want to think of intervals, take it from where the C and A meet, and C and A also meet up here as well. Is it 9/10 as well? So you overlay the intervals where the C and A meet. G and E meet up on the 10th fret, and what you would find that C and A and G and E are basically the same shape. It's perhaps I can make a video on the cage system with a bit more detail maybe. You know, my next video is going to be about caged, because I think you know, if a person wants to learn arpeggios and stuff, and it can be off-put, you know, because a person might say, right, here's a person might think, right, a person might think, so are you telling me I've got to learn C sharp minor arpeggios and learn them all across the fretboard and in every single key, and on top of that I've got to learn my major 7 chords and all these inversions and all these different shapes, and, yeah. But if you do these things within the cage system, it's a lot easier. Everything is inside the box. Excuse me, it's fantastic. And again, once you've got the cage system down, to take it to the next level, intervallic intervals is the the gold that is sprinkled on top. If anybody would like to see a caged video, please make a comment in the comments. Or maybe there's enough videos on YouTube about the cage system anyway. But I've got my approach of doing it, you know. And my approach basically, caged, there's 5 letters. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Every single Monday, focus on C. That C shape. Where are all the triads on C? Where's all the arpeggios on C? Where's the pentatonic on C? You know? And then Tuesday, it's the A shape, right? Triads, arpeggios, pentatonics, scale, thirds, play the scale in thirds. G is a Wednesday, right? Triads, arpeggios, pentatonic, you know. I can make a full video to flush this out. If you want me to make one, please make a comment in the comment sections, and I hope you found this video useful. Okay, thank you.